We are living in a moment where the very foundation of computing is being rewritten before our eyes. This is not just a technological shift, it is a fundamental transformation of human industry. I call it the iPhone moment of artificial intelligence. But in reality, it is much bigger than that. We are witnessing the birth of a new industrial revolution. In the previous industrial revolutions, the raw material was water, then steam, then electricity. In this revolution, the raw material is data and the output is intelligence. And just as the factories of the 19th century were the engines of national wealth, the AI factory is the engine of the 21st century. This is why I am here to talk to you about a concept that is becoming the most critical strategic mandate for every country on the planet: sovereign AI. For the last 60 years, we lived in a world of general-purpose computing. We built computers to follow instructions, to retrieve information, and to store data. But that era has reached its physical and economic limits. Moore's Law, the idea that we can just wait for transistors to get smaller and cheaper to gain performance, is dead. The CPU has run out of gas. We cannot solve the problems of tomorrow with the architectures of yesterday. This is why we pioneered accelerated computing. We realized from first principles that to continue the progress of human civilization, we had to move from the serial world of the CPU to the parallel world of the GPU. But what does this mean for a nation? Think about your country's natural resources. You have land, you have minerals, you have water, but today your most precious natural resource is your data. Your data contains your language, your culture, your history, your legal framework, and the collective knowledge of your people. For too long, nations have been exporting their raw data to foreign lands, only to import the intelligence generated from that data back at a premium. That is a mistake we can no longer afford to make. Sovereign AI is the idea that a nation must own its own intelligence. It must own the infrastructure that processes its data, the models that represent its culture, and the factories that manufacture its future. If you do not own your own AI, you are essentially outsourcing your national sovereignty to a handful of companies or foreign powers. This is why the urgency is so high. This is why I tell leaders around the world, run, don't walk. The gap between the nations that have sovereign AI and those that do not will become a canyon that is impossible to cross. To build sovereign AI, you must build AI factories. These are not traditional data centers. A traditional data center is a place where we store files. An AI factory is a place where we manufacture tokens, units of intelligence. And at the heart of these factories is the most ambitious project in the history of NVIDIA, Blackwell. When we designed Blackwell, we weren't just looking to build a faster chip. We were looking to build the platform for national-scale intelligence. Blackwell is the culmination of everything we have learned in 30 years of near extinction and survival. People look at NVIDIA today and see a trillion-dollar company, but they forget that we have been 30 days from bankruptcy more times than I care to count. When we were building the Riva 128, our backs were against the wall. We had one shot. That urgency, that desire for suffering, as I call it, is built into the silicon of Blackwell. We seek out the impossible problems that no one else wants to touch, because that is where the most value is created for humanity. Solving the problem of sovereign AI is one of those impossible tasks. It requires a rethink of energy, of networking, of software, and of global cooperation. But it starts with a fundamental realization. You cannot have AI without accelerated computing. If you try to build a national AI on traditional CPUs, you will bankrupt your power grid before you finish training the model. The economics simply don't work. Accelerated computing is not just a choice. It is a survival mandate. By moving to NVIDIA's platform, you are reducing the time, the energy, and the cost of intelligence by orders of magnitude. As I always say, the more you buy, the more you save. I maintain a very flat structure at NVIDIA. I don't have a corner office. I sit in the trenches with my engineers. I have 50 direct reports. Why? Because in a revolution, information must move at the speed of light. Hierarchy is a bottleneck for innovation. If a nation wants to build sovereign AI, it must adopt this same mentality. It must move fast. It must empower its researchers and its entrepreneurs. It must treat the construction of its AI infrastructure with the same urgency as it would treat the construction of its power grid or its highway system. We are currently retooling the world's trillion-dollar installed base of data centers. Every single one of them is being converted into an AI factory. This is a massive generational shift. And as this happens, every country must ask itself, where is my AI factory? Where is the machine that understands my people's language better than anyone else? Where is the engine that will help my doctors cure diseases specific to our population or help our engineers optimize our unique energy grid? This is the work of your life in building things that didn't exist before. We are providing the first principles for this new era. We aren't just selling chips, we are providing the blueprint for national intelligence. We are providing the software libraries, the networking stacks, and the reference architectures that allow a nation to go from zero to a fully functioning AI factory in record time. But I want to be humble about the challenge. This is hard. It is incredibly hard. It requires us to rethink the very nature of the computer. In the old world, the computer was the box on your desk. Today, the entire data center is the computer. The network is the computer. The software stack that runs across 10,000 GPUs is the computer. This is a level of complexity that human beings have never managed before. But we choose this difficulty because the reward is the liberation of human potential. When a nation builds its own sovereign AI, it is not just creating a technical asset, it is creating a digital legacy. It is ensuring that its children will grow up in a world where the AI assistants they use understand their context, their values, and their dreams. It is ensuring that its small businesses can compete on a global stage by leveraging intelligence that is tailored to their local market. This is the ultimate democratization of technology. However, the clock is ticking. The speed of AI development is breathtaking. We are seeing 10x improvements every year. If you wait 2 years to start building your sovereign AI, you aren't just 2 years behind. You are decades behind in the exponential race. This is why I am so vocal about the need for immediate action. The iPhone moment has happened. The industrial revolution has begun. The nations that move now will define the next century. I remember back at Denny's when Chris Curtis and I were just 3 guys with an idea. We were dishwashers and waiters. We didn't have much, but we had a belief in the power of graphics and parallel processing. We were willing to fail. We were willing to suffer. We were willing to work for a decade on CUDA before anyone even knew what it was for. That resilience is what a nation needs today. You have to be willing to invest in the future even when the path is not entirely clear. You have to trust the first principles. The first principle of the 21st century is this: intelligence is the most valuable commodity. Therefore, the production of intelligence is the most important industry. And because intelligence is derived from data, and data is a national resource, the production of intelligence must be a national priority. We see countries like Japan, France, Canada, and many others already moving in this direction. They are building their own sovereign clouds. They are training their own foundational models. They are realizing that AI by the people, for the people, on the people's data is the only way forward. They are running, not walking. But there is a warning I must give. Building the hardware is only half the battle. You must also build the ecosystem. You must foster the talent. You must create an environment where researchers want to stay and build. You must have a flat, innovative culture that can keep pace with the technology. This is why NVIDIA is so committed to partnering with nations, not just as a supplier, but as a thought partner. We want to help you build the full stack. We want to help you turn your data into the gold of the new era. Blackwell is the engine for this. It is designed for the scale of nations. It is designed to handle the trillion parameter models that will represent the complexity of an entire society. It is designed to be the most energy efficient, the most powerful, and the most reliable infrastructure in the world. But more than that, it is designed to be accessible. We want every nation, regardless of its size, to have the power of an AI factory. I often think about the impossible problems we have solved at NVIDIA. We solved the problem of 3D graphics. We solved the problem of programmable shading. We solved the problem of general-purpose computing on GPUs. And now, we are solving the problem of generative AI. Each of these was a mountain that people said we couldn't climb, but we climbed them because we focused on the first principles and we refused to give up. We embraced the pain. Now we are asking you to join us on the next mountain, the mountain of sovereign AI. It is a steep climb and the air is thin, but the view from the top is a world where every nation is empowered, every culture is represented, and every human being has an AI partner that helps them achieve their potential. This is the vision that drives me. This is why I still wake up every morning with the same urgency I had when we were 30 days from bankruptcy. The demand for this intelligence is infinite. There is no such thing as too much intelligence. As we build more powerful AI, we find more ways to use it to solve the world's most pressing problems, from climate change to food security to global health. But that intelligence must be grounded in the reality of the people it serves. It cannot be a one-size-fits-all intelligence imported from a single source. It must be sovereign. I want to share with you the roadmap for how we get there, how we take a nation from having raw data to having sovereign intelligence. It requires a coordinated effort across government, industry, and academia. It requires a long-term commitment to infrastructure, and it requires a willingness to act now with extreme urgency. The roadmap begins with the physical foundation. You cannot build a digital future on a shaky physical foundation. And in the era of artificial intelligence, the physical foundation is the AI factory. This starts with energy. We must look at energy from first principles. For decades, we treated data centers as a cost center, a place where we spent electricity to store records. Today, we must view the AI factory as a value center, a place where we invest electricity to produce the world's most valuable commodity, intelligence. This requires a new kind of partnership between the state and the utility providers. We have to rethink how we move power, how we cool these massive clusters, and how we integrate them into the national grid. Sovereign AI is not just about having a few servers in a basement. It is about building a national utility for intelligence. Just as every nation has a road system and a water system, every nation will soon have an intelligence system. This system must be built on accelerated computing because that is the only way to make it sustainable. If you try to power a nation's intelligence on the back of old general-purpose CPUs, the energy cost will be prohibitive. Blackwell was engineered specifically to solve this. It is the most energy-efficient engine of intelligence ever created. By moving to Blackwell, a nation can produce 20 times more intelligence for the same amount of power. This is the first principle of sustainability. Efficiency is not an option, it is a requirement. The second step in the roadmap is the data itself. Every nation has a unique data profile. Think about the specific dialects of your language, the unique architectural styles of your cities, the specific health challenges of your people, and the intricacies of your legal system. When you train a model on foreign data, that model carries the biases, the values, and the cultural assumptions of that foreign data. Sovereign AI allows you to train models that are native to your soil. These models don't just speak your language, they understand the nuance of your culture. They can provide legal advice that is accurate to your local laws. They can provide medical advice that is relevant to your specific genetics. They can help your engineers design buildings that are optimized for your specific climate. This is why the sovereign part of sovereign AI is so critical. It is about protecting the identity of a nation in the digital age. However, to do this, you must have the resilience to face the impossible engineering challenges. I often think back to the early days of CUDA. For nearly a decade, we were building a platform that the market didn't yet understand. We were investing billions of dollars in a future that seemed far away. Our investors were skeptical. The industry thought we were wasting our time. We were exhausted. We were pushing our teams to the brink to solve the problems of parallel programming. But we stayed the course because we knew that the CPU was hitting a wall. We knew that the world would eventually need a way to process massive amounts of data in parallel. That resilience, that willingness to be misunderstood and to suffer through the difficult years is exactly what a nation needs today to build its AI infrastructure. You cannot wait for the technology to become easy. If it's easy, you've already missed the opportunity to lead. Our flat structure at NVIDIA is designed to foster this kind of resilience. We don't have silos. We don't have business units that compete for resources. We are one team, one mission. This is how a nation must approach sovereign AI. It cannot be left to a single department or a single ministry. It must be a whole-of-nation effort. It requires a partnership between the government that provides the vision, the universities that provide the talent, and the industry that provides the execution. You have to remove the bureaucratic bottlenecks. You have to move at the speed of the technology. In the time it takes to write a traditional government white paper, the AI field has changed 3 times. You must be agile. You must run, don't walk. The third pillar of sovereign AI is the physical AI revolution. We are moving from AI that lives in a box to AI that lives in the world. This is where Omniverse comes in. For a nation, this means creating a digital twin of its entire infrastructure. Imagine a digital twin of your national power grid, your transportation network, and your manufacturing bases. You can use your sovereign AI to simulate the impact of a storm on your power grid, or to optimize the flow of traffic in your cities, or to train robots to work in your factories. This is not science fiction. We are doing this today with partners around the world. But to do it effectively, you need the massive computational power that only accelerated computing can provide. Blackwell and Omniverse together provide the brain and the body for this national scale simulation. I am often asked if I am worried about the cost of building this infrastructure. I answer by asking, what is the cost of not building it? What is the cost of losing your national competitiveness? What is the cost of having your best and brightest minds move to other countries because you don't have the tools for them to build the future? Sovereign AI is an investment in human capital. When you build an AI factory, you are creating a magnet for talent. You are telling your young people that they can build the most advanced technology in the world right here at home. You are creating a brain gain instead of a brain drain. This is the real 4 trillion plan. It's not about the money, it's about the compounding value of national intelligence. We seek out the hardest problems because those are the only ones that matter. Building a sovereign AI infrastructure is one of those hard problems. It requires a total retooling of how we think about the computer, the network, and the data center. But at NVIDIA, we have spent 30 years preparing for this moment. We have built the most advanced accelerated computing platform on Earth. We have built the software libraries that make it easy to deploy. We have built the networking switches that allow these systems to scale to the size of a city. We are ready to be your partner in this journey. But let me be clear about the urgency. This is a race. The nations that build their sovereign AI today will be the ones that set the standards for the next century. They will be the ones that define the new industrial revolution. They will be the ones that solve the problems of energy, health, and education for their people. If you wait, you are not just falling behind. You are becoming a passenger in a world driven by others. We have a saying at NVIDIA, the work of your life is to build things that didn't exist before. I believe this applies to nations as well. Every nation has the opportunity to build a digital future that reflects its own unique spirit. Every nation can use AI to amplify the potential of its people, but you have to have the courage to start. You have to have the humility to realize that the old ways of computing are over. You have to have the resilience to suffer through the initial challenges of building a new industry. I remember when we were 30 days from bankruptcy. I remember the weight of that responsibility. Today, I feel a different kind of responsibility. I feel the responsibility to help the world understand the magnitude of the change we are facing. We are at the dawn of the age of intelligence. It is a world where every human being can have an AI partner, where every company can be an AI company, and where every nation can be a sovereign AI nation. Blackwell is the engine for this world. It is a miracle of engineering, but it is also a tool for human empowerment. It is the result of thousands of people at NVIDIA working with a first principles mindset, refusing to accept that the impossible was truly impossible. We built it for you. We built it so that you could build your own future. As we look toward the horizon, I don't see a world of scarcity. I see a world of abundance. I see a world where the marginal cost of intelligence is so low that we can finally address the problems that have plagued humanity for centuries. But this abundance is not guaranteed. It must be built. It must be nurtured. It must be protected. That is why sovereign AI is not just a policy. It is a moral imperative. It is the only way to ensure that the benefits of the AI revolution are shared by all of humanity, not just a privileged few. I want to thank you for joining me on this journey. I want to thank the developers, the researchers, and the leaders who are already running toward this future. You are the pioneers of the new industrial revolution. You are the ones who will turn the raw data of your nations into the intelligence gold of the future. The transition to accelerated computing is the most significant change in the history of technology. It is a total reinvention of the world's most important tool, the computer. But more than that, it is a reinvention of our potential. We are no longer limited by the speed of our typing or the constraints of our serial processing. We are limited only by our curiosity and our willingness to work on the problems that matter. Run, don't walk. Toward your sovereign AI, toward your AI factory, toward the future where your nation's intelligence belongs to you. The race is on, and the prize is the future of human civilization. Before I say goodbye, I want to invite you to be a part of this global conversation. If you believe in the vision of sovereign AI and the power of accelerated computing, please subscribe to this channel and give this video a like. It helps us reach more people who are ready to build the future. And please, I want to hear from you. If you have questions about how to build a national AI infrastructure, about the Blackwell architecture, or about how to foster an innovation culture in your own country, leave them in the comments below. I will be looking through them and I will respond to your questions as quickly as I can. We are in this together and I want to learn from your unique perspectives. The logical conclusion is irrefutable. In the age of AI, a nation without its own sovereign intelligence is a nation without a voice in its own future. The AI factory is the new national requirement. Run, don't walk. Thank you.